Let's do it.
Welcome back to the Modern Dad Show. I'm Chandru
I'm Carl Lyons.
and we are Modern Dads.
We are.
So this is the final episode of season 2, and our episode is about losers.
It's something that our culture and society is kind of shying away from in some ways. And what I mean by that is that if you look at a lot of the social media stuff,
Right.
It's all about perfect imagery, isn't it? You know, kind of airbrushing. It's about making your life look as though it's kind of going really, really well, whether it is or it's not.
I completely agree, and in fact I came across something just today called a fakecation.
Fakecations, a Nebraska-based company called Fake a Vacation, is helping people do that on social media. Now, the company superimposes pictures of you onto backdrops of things like Hawaii, the Grand Canyon, and other popular vacation spots.
Losing is something that people perhaps only care about because of public perception. How much would you care about losing if you didn't care what people thought?
So for me, this is all about your external reference point, or your reference points in life being external to you rather than internal, if you see what I mean. So in other words, what do other people think of me? How do other people measure success? Do I look successful in a kind of conventional sense? So it's all about that reference point. And,
it's all about public
what other
perception.
people think. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
We learn through that experiential process where we actually fail. And you say that's a normal part of the process. That
Right.
failure, that contrast is important part of the process. But as adults, we have this fear of failure. How
There's a
we're
stigma
seen
attached to it.
Shame! Shame!
And it's an unfair, unnecessary stigma. Nelson Mandela said, I never lose.
Yeah.
I either win or I learn. It teaches you how to deal with adversity and also
Yeah.
manage your expectations going forward.
Yeah.
Losing is a humbling process. If you were always winning, the first
Yeah.
time you lost, it would be crushing. But
Yeah.
if you have lost, then you grow from it, you learn from it.
Yeah.
I'll give you an
definitely.
example. Tiger Woods.
He was one of the most famous men in the world. And then the crash from grace. Dozens of affairs, the mugshot, and injuries that made him predict he would never play again. But there he was yesterday winning the Masters, his first major in 11 years.
Another thing loss teaches you, perseverance.
You know, I used to be a boxer, and there is not a successful boxer anywhere that hasn't gone through the adversity of losing or being knocked down at some stage. And the question then becomes, what do I do next as a result of this experience?
Michael Bennett was a reluctant world champion, pressured into boxing because of his father's wishes, and he never wanted to be into it. And when he lost the belt, and the doctors told him that if he was to fight again, he could risk his life.
Getting knocked out was the best thing that ever happened to me.
And now, he has a successful career in Hollywood, on stage, in film. There are times in life where we have to go through a door and lose. But when you take a step back, you learn that that loss has presented other opportunities that you never considered, that you never contemplated, and that's more suited to you. So loss is just a journey to success.
Kids, are not necessarily taught to fail well.
You're a devil! You're a devil!
They're discouraged to experiment and explore and go through the failure process, and making sure that your kid looks as though he's on the right table. He or she is getting things right, and all of the rest
And
of
at what cost?
They should be allowed to fail, but given a frame, what did you learn from this process? What are you going to do differently next time? There shouldn't be any emotional attachments to that are detrimental in any way, shape or form. And I think unconsciously often there are, because the kid's punished when they get something wrong.
Or humiliated. I mean, you're embarrassed in front of the class, and then that affects your confidence. And that's the thing, there's deeper rooted issues that are born from being punished for making mistakes.
This is where creativity comes from, this is where experimentation comes from, exploration. I think so many good things come from that process, but done in the right way and encouraged in the right way.
Not only encourage, but also try and teach them about the fabric of the universe to an extent. So, I don't know, do you know the story of the Zen master and the little boy?
There's a little boy, on his 14th birthday, he gets a horse. And everybody in the village says, how wonderful, the boy got a horse. And the Zen master says, we'll see. 2 years later, the boy falls off the horse, breaks his leg, and everybody in the village says, how terrible. And the Zen master says, we'll see. Then a war breaks out, and all the young men have to go off and fight, except the boy can't because his leg's all messed up. And everybody in the village says, how wonderful.
And the Zen master says, we'll see.
There's a bigger tapestry,
Yeah.
and we don't get to see it.
The obstacle is the way. This is
Right.
one of the key principles of Stoicism. Any barriers, any challenges you come across with, you shouldn't necessarily see them in that way. The emotional frame is you've got to dive a little bit deeper, you've got to think a bit more creatively to kind of find a way around these. So
Yeah.
they see challenges and obstacles as the way to personal growth.
Right.
And I think that's a really necessary part of
The lesson is in the journey is the way.
There's a kind of mythology story about a man that's ploughing his field, and his plough gets stuck, and he finds that it's actually caught on a trapdoor below the soil. So he kind of lifts the trapdoor, and below the trapdoor is this kind of buried treasure, if you like. And the symbolism of the story is where you get stuck. Actually, this is where the
Opportunity.
opportunity, this is where
Right.
the jewels are. And the access to the chamber, if you like, is the access to the unconscious. That's where you're going to find
Yeah.
the things that are really, really valuable to you. And it's only through challenge and adversity and through failure, I think, that you actually really find that within yourself.
I think losing is a necessary part of evolution. And a lot of success
Yeah.
actually stems from loss. And history is littered with successful individuals
Absolutely,
that
yeah.
actually started from a losing point or reached
Yeah.
a losing point in their journey. Walt Disney was fired from his job for a lack of imagination and
Yeah.
ideas. Soichiro Honda
Yeah.
didn't get a job with Toyota, and then he went and he started working in a garage. J.K. Rowling, Michael Jordan, Churchill, Branson, Einstein failed his polytechnic exam. Mistakes, failure is a part of success.
Yeah, absolutely.
So those are our thoughts. We'd love to hear your thoughts,
Yeah.
and thank you for supporting us during this season. We will be back with another season.
Season 3.
Yep. Please subscribe, and we look forward to your thoughts.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
You look like the test card, to be honest, for the intermission. Do you remember that creepy clown?
Yeah, the creepy
girl
clown,
in
yeah.
front of the board.